Hi, I wanted to talk about this app that I have. It's the SHROUD app for iPhone. It is a HD picture of the Shroud of Turin, and you can scan it and probe it with your fingers. And on the side here, you can't see it that well, but there's path, sheets, extra, navigator, filters, and negatives. You can switch between positive and negative image. And if you click on path, you can see that there's different things here, like let's try scientific aspects. Then you can click these little dots, tap these little dots, and it'll show different facts. And so that's interesting. Just tap that. Go to path. This is really interesting. This is the Shroud of Turin. Scientists have examined it, and they believe that it was made by a light source. In fact, at the time of the resurrection. In fact, in one documentary I saw, they actually said that you could see little pieces of pollen and flowers that their image was imprinted onto the cloth as well, because the light source was so epic. And in one documentary that I saw, they actually compared it to this guy in Hiroshima that was working on his house when the bomb went off, and the light and the heat from the bomb actually permanently seared his shadow onto the wall of his house. So that kind of gives you an idea of how this was made, although the shroud is much more detailed, and artists have examined it. They say it doesn't match any art that they've ever seen. There's certain aspects of it, like certain blood stains that can only be seen under a blacklight, and it was discovered in the 1300s by a French knight. So obviously nobody was thinking about blacklights then. There's certain aspects of the blood, like a heightened level of bilirubin, which in one documentary I saw, they said that when somebody dies a traumatic death, sometimes the bilirubin increases. Like if somebody was beaten with a baseball bat, you'd have a higher level of bilirubin in the blood. In the side wound, there's blood mixed with blood serum, which would make sense if he was on the cross for several hours and then stabbed. Now there's some confusion about the dates. When it was carbon dated, it read about 700 years old, which it was from Jesus, it would be 2,000 years old. But the reason why the date was messed up is, well, actually there's two reasons for that. The first reason is carbon dating has been proven to be unreliable in many cases. Like in one documentary, they were saying that freshly killed mollusks, when they carbon date them, show up to be thousands of years old. And the other reason is, on the image itself, on the body image itself, there's not a drop of paint on it. It was made by a light source. At one point, the shroud was in a fire. And if you think about it, if you drop a piece of paper in a fire, the edges are usually the first to go. So at one time, somebody had stitched a dyed cotton strip to one of the edges that had been burned away. And when they did the carbon dating, that was the part that they clipped away for the sample. And when they tested it, that's when it came out 700 years old, because it was what they were testing. They didn't realize it at the time, but they were testing a mixture of first century cloth, the shroud, with the cotton strip from the 16th century. So it came back with a poor result. So carbon dating, it's really not that reliable. But there's a lot of documentaries that you can see on this. I think there's one called The Real Face of Jesus, I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out, but there's YouTube videos, there's all kinds of information that you can get on this, and it's really interesting. So definitely check that out. That's the Shroud of Turin app for the phone. This one is 2.0, but there might be later editions now, so definitely worth checking out.